Hi guys, back with a new episode of Research Plus Practice from a new location and a new hairstyle. Uh, Last time we discussed book number 20 and we got a very awesome feedback from you. So keep that feedback coming. And this time we are going to discuss on book number 19. So, book number 19 is a very important book in the list of our series of the top 20 book of management of all times. And the book number 19, if you understand the main concepts of this book, you will start to see the results very fast and very quick. So, once you have understood the concept and you're applying, do give us your feedback. Book number 19 is Creative Experience by Mary Parker Follett. So, book number 19 is Creative Experience by Mary Parker Follett. In one sentence, if we had to say, then we find that in our social discourse, when we are talking with each other, when solutions are being discussed in our life, we generally tend to think in terms of binary situations, or in other simple terms, we think of the situations as either or. However, that is not always the case, and if we dig a little further, then we will have an understanding whereby the solution goes beyond either or. So, Mary Parker Follett says in her book Creative Experience that conflict is an integral part of organizational life. When you're dealing with people, as we had discussed in our last presentation, then you will understand that there will be difference of opinion and people are going to have opposite views. They are going to see things very differently, and that is very natural. So instead of running away from conflict, Mary Parker Follett comes with the concept of creative conflict. To understand what do we mean by creative conflict, we have to see that there are basically three ways to resolve a conflict. Number one is dominance, where one party gets their solution and the other party has to accept it. Compromise, in this case both the parties have to away from their interest to some degree, and neither of them is completely satisfied. Integration, now this is the new approach about which Mary Parker Follett is speaking. Integration is that process where both the sides don't have to give up anything and interests of both the sides are served. So, what are the characteristics of integration? So, when integration of interests and views happen, then something new is created. It leads to innovation and collaboration, and it goes to the root of the problem and permanently solves the problem. So, how do we achieve integration? Mary Parker Follett suggests three ways in which we can achieve integration. The first is when we work on the real issues. Often, when we are discussing things, when we are debating and arguing on issues, the language tends to become very hostile. We use a lot of symbols, and the real meaning of what we actually want is not communicated. So, working on the real issues is very important. And how do you work on real issues? Is by having meaningful conversations with each other. And once you have that kind of a meaningful conversation happening, then you will start anticipating conflict, and a higher degree of solution can be achieved. So, for example, a nano case which Follett discusses in her book is that there was a meeting whereby the price of one newspaper was being discussed, and it was seen that this newspaper, when it puts its price on certain on its editions, then the rival newspaper used to cut the price, and they were in turn forced to cut the price again. In this way, we find that situation comes when they are have to discuss the question whether they are going to cut the prices further or not. And some of them are in favor of cutting prices, and some of them are in favor of not cutting prices. And here you find a classical situation where there is a difference of opinion, there is a conflict. Now, if we had gone with the dominance way, then either of these solutions would have been selected. If we had gone for the compromise way, then maybe a little bit of price was deducted on the suggestion of one of the parties, and the whole price would not be deducted considering the views of one side. However, this problem was solved when it was suggested that instead of cutting price again and again, why don't we go and look at the price of the newspaper from a different view and say that we will not cut the prices, but we will charge for quality. In this way, we find there were integration of both the parties. So, in one of the parties who was saying that the cost is important was also considered, and the other party which is saying that the quality is important and we can't keep reducing the price every time our rivals reduce the price was also considered. So what do you have to remember from this book? That there are three ways of dealing with difference: domination, compromise, and integration. By domination, only one side gets what it wants. By compromise, neither side gets what it wants. By integration, we find a way by which both sides may get what they wish. So that was book number 19 for you. Do share, like, and subscribe our videos, and I'll be back with you with book number 18. Till then, this is Shashwat signing off.